D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? Today I will be reviewing the 2023 Guardians of the Galaxy 3, directed by James Gunn, and I have to say, I was blown away by this film. I mean, it definitely exceeded my expectations. So let's just start off with the directing. James Gunn did an incredible job in creating a visually stunning and cohesive film. The action sequences were expertly choreographed and the CGI was seamlessly integrated. He also managed to balance the film's humor with its darker moments, which is no easy feat. I laughed at this movie. I teared up. I was transported into space for 3 hours, and it was a great time at the theater. The scene with the colored suits and the like colored buttons made no sense and everything, but it made me laugh so much. Like I loved it, like when so he pushes the blue button, I think it was blue, to talk to GAMORA, right? And he thinks he's on the private channel, and then everybody else can hear him, and they're like, no, blue is for everybody, orange is for blue, yellow is for red, green is for orange or whatever. And he's like, that makes no sense. And they're like, it makes perfect. And then Drax was all like, I thought orange was for green. And she's like, and then and Mantis was like, no. And so it was really funny. And of course, that color coordination made no sense, because I mean, like, I didn't write it down, but when it comes out on digital, I'm going to see if there's any way you can figure out their logic to that. And like I said before, I teared up at times. The one that comes to mind most is when Nebula, towards the end, when Nebula tells Drax, she looks at him and she's like, today I found out who you really were. It's not a destroyer. You're a father. And I was just like, me personally, I was just like, oh my God. I teared up. I was like, me too, Drax. It just kind of that kind of stuff just like hit home, because I am a dad. I have 2 babies. And so I just loved it. I loved it so much. I mean, the acting is also top notch. The chemistry between the Guardians was palpable, and each character had their own moment to shine. So in saying that, let's talk about these characters. All right. So Chris Pratt's portrayal of Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord, has been a fan favorite since the first installment of the series. And in this movie, he takes his performance to new heights. Pratt's charismatic and witty portrayal of Star-Lord has made the character one of the most beloved in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, he effortlessly brings Quill's unique blend of humor, charm, and heroism to life on screen, making the audience feel that they are part of the Guardians team. Whether he's battling intergalactic villains like the High Evolutionary or cracking jokes with his fellow Guardians, Pratt's performance as Star-Lord is always on point. In Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Pratt once again proves that he is a perfect actor for the role. His chemistry with the rest of the cast, including Zoe Saldana's Gamora and Dave Bautista's as Drax, is electric. Pratt's performance brings heart and humor to the film, making it a thrilling and entertaining ride from the start to finish. In short, Chris Pratt's performance as Star-Lord in the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is nothing short of amazing, and fans of the franchise should be blown away like I was. Now let's talk about Zoe Saldana's incredible performance as Gamora. In this movie, Saldana brings a level of intensity and depth to Gamora that is truly remarkable. Her performance as a perfect blend of strength, vulnerability, and emotion, making the audience connect with the character on a deeper level. Whether she's battling the douchebags or dealing with her complicated relationship with Star-Lord, Saldana's performance is nuanced and captivating. In this movie, her character has gone through significant changes since the last film, and Saldana has brought all the necessary nuances to her performance. Her chemistry with Chris Pratt's Star-Lord is a highlight of the film as the two characters navigate their complicated relationship. I did like the whole thing where he kept looking at her lovingly, and then she just kept looking at him like, I don't know who you are. I do not know who this man is. And then at the end, when she finally realizes that maybe she could feel something for him, And she says, I can't remember the line, exactly, but she says something like, I'll never be the woman that she was. And he says something like, that's okay. I can live with the woman that you are, or something like that. And I was like, that's nice. That's nice. And then, and then she's like, I'm gonna run away now. And she goes on to a ship with the Ravagers and she gets away from him. So I did like the complexity of their relationship, but at the same time, I was all like, oh no, they're not together at the end, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So Dave Bautista as Drax. Now, in this movie, he was great. And touching, his portrayal of this brutish yet lovable Drax has won over fans of the franchise, myself included. And Bautista's performance is both hilarious and heartwarming. He brings a unique blend of humor and pathos to the character. His chemistry with the rest of the cast, particularly Mantis, is a highlight of the film, and fans like myself really enjoy that relationship. Now, unfortunately, that relationship has come to an end as Mantis has set off on her own. She was with those big battery eater things. I don't remember what those are called, but I'll talk about that when we get to Mantis. But back to Drax. Okay, Drax is hilarious. I mean, the one-liners and the heartfelt moments were great, and Batista really delivered. I mean, and who would have thought that a wrestler could be this good? I mean, not me. I've always thought Dave Bautista was a terrible actor, but in this one, I mean, like, and John Cena when he acts, I'm all like, sometimes I'm just like, oh, look at that guy. He's pretty good. I like it. All right, so Karen Gillan's performance as Nebula in this movie, I mean, Gillian brings a level of complexity and emotional depth to Nebula, making her one of the most interesting characters of the franchise. I mean, her performance as Nebula is both fierce and vulnerable. I mean, she brings, the unique blend of strength and heart to the character, making her such a powerhouse. I mean, Gillian's chemistry with the rest of the cast, particularly her on-screen sister GAMORA, is also a highlight. I keep saying everything's a highlight, but it is. It's like these things just stand out in so many ways. I mean, I loved when they grunted at each other as a form of communication, like a sisterly talk, like, and I'm all like, that's good. I like that. That's so funny. And it was nice to see a somewhat sisterly bond between her. I mean, her character has gone through such a significant change since the first film, and that finally, the final destination of her being the mother to Drax's father of nowhere and those little kids, isn't the place I would have stuck her. But I have really, I have faith that we'll see her again in another movie, and I hope we do because she's really great. Pom Klementieff's performance as Mantis is as the empathetic alien has been such a breath of fresh air. And her performance is both endearing and hilarious. Klementieff brings a unique charm and innocence to Mantis, but also a humor that makes her even more charming. Her character's interactions with Drax provide some of the most hilarious moments in the films, in this one especially. And I did like when she sent him to give Star-Lord that advice about, instead of jumping, like when like we was talking about women, and she said through Drax, she said, instead of jumping from lily pad to lily pad, maybe you should learn to swim. And I thought that was excellent advice, but also a really good analogy, as Peter pointed out. And I have to say, I don't know if I care for the scene where she erased the Drax's mind after she said she thought he was stupid or an idiot, because he got really sad, and then she was like, forget. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, like, you said it, own it, I mean, and if he's sad, that's just how it is. But and it makes me wonder, what else has she erased from his mind that she didn't like? I mean, so yeah. Klementieff's chemistry with the rest of the cast, though, is fantastic. And as a fan, I was eagerly anticipating more of Mantis's hilarious antics and heartwarming moments, and Klementieff did not disappoint. And I was kind of bummed that she went off on her own and we won't see her. I mean, we might see her again, But I thought if she had went off on her own, she may have taken Drax with her, you know, because they were such a good team, especially in that Christmas special, that I thought maybe we'd get to see a little bit more of that team in, you know, maybe a little spinoff, you know, maybe like another holiday special of sorts. But we're not going to get to see that. Apologies, I need coffee. Now, Gru was fine, but really didn't have anything overwhelmingly, overwhelmingly bunch of stuff to do except for, you know, his regular stuff, his, regular fare. But I did really like how he hid Star-Lord's and weapons in his little, tree parts when they went into the High Evolutionary's temple / starship. I like that because they couldn't sense it, the weapons through his tree parts and everything. So I did like that, and you got a sense of why he looked like that. Bradley Cooper's performance as Rocket Raccoon in this movie, even though he wasn't really in it till the third act, was lovable yet complex, and his performance in the flashbacks was no exceptions. I mean, Cooper's performance as Rocket is both hilarious and heartbreaking. He brings a unique blend of humor and pathos to the character, making him one of the most beloved members of the Guardians team. In the flashback, Cooper's performance added a layer of emotional depth to the character's backstory, making fans even more invested in Rocket's journey. Even though Cooper's screen time in this film was limited, his performance as Rocket was still a standout, with his hilarious one-liners and heartfelt moments with his friends in those cages. And I was like, that bunny was crazy, Floor. And I like Teefs. And and then Lylla, I had watched some of the clips before they had put it out and everything, and I didn't realize she had robot hands. And that was really like, I was just like, oh, her robot hands are freaking me out, along with that bunny. That bunny was fucking scary. I'm sorry, Floor freaked me out too, with her jaw thingy and her robot voice, but whatever. Sean Gunn as Kraglin was fine, but it feels like he's an AliExpress version of Yondu, and I prefer Yondu, if you know what I'm saying. So, okay, Chukwudi Iwuji Chukwudi Iwuji's portrayal. Sorry, you got a crazy name, dude. Iwuji's portrayal of this iconic Marvel villain, the High Evolutionary, brought a new level of menace and intrigue to the Guardians franchise. As a true villain of the franchise, the High Evolutionary is one of the most formidable foes the Guardians have ever faced. Iwuji's performance is both chilling and captivating, making him a memorable addition. I mean, when they pulled back his face mask and he was all like, look, he's like, look what you did. I just wanted everything to be perfect. I was like, it was like freaking mental, yo. I'm like crazy. And I took my son, which probably wasn't the best idea to take a 5-year-old to this movie. Because there was some stuff that I was just like, shit. And I had to close his eye. Like when they said the F-bomb in this, I didn't notice it, but my son did. He's like, oh, they said a bad word. I was like, oh, they did say a bad word. Like he kept, and when Mantis called him Drax stupid, he's like, she said a bad word. And I was like, that's right, she said a bad word. Because we don't use that language in my house. You don't call people stupid. That's not how it works and everything. So but when he pulled back his face, I was like, oh Jesus. So I was like, Rocket was really upset when his friends died. He tore his face off and his nose. Yeah, so like I said, Iwuji delivered a villain that was straight up just didn't care as long as he got what he wanted, and which was perfection. I mean, the guy blew up an entire planet just because they weren't perfect. Those like animal people, which I kind of felt bad for him. I mean, that octopus selling crack to, what were they, mosquitoes or whatever, was I was like, that's funny, but whatever. So the world building was also impressive. We got to see more of the cosmic universe and were introduced to new characters and species. The addition to detail was evident, and it added to the film's overall immersion. The soundtrack was also fantastic. I mean, it perfectly complemented the film's tone. And my son, to this day, is still singing No Sleep Till Brooklyn. So good job on that. Now let's talk about the plot and the story. I thought it was well crafted and engaging. It delved deeper into the Guardians' individual stories, especially Rocket, and the stakes were high. The story took a darker turn compared to the previous films, which I personally enjoyed. However, I can see how some viewers may find it too intense. The animal cruelty stuff, some that might get to some people, but to that I just go, man up or woman up, whatever you need to do, because you're made of weak shit. You know what I'm saying? So listen, weak sauce, Darwinism, we're weeding out the weak, and you are obviously one of them. So now, while I appreciate the film's darker tone, I do acknowledge that it may not be for everyone. Some weaker-minded individuals may have a problem with some of the film's more disturbing scenes. That being said, I don't think it detracts from the overall quality of the film. I can't emphasize enough the confidence that I have that James Gunn will write a Superman movie that is respectful and faithful to the character. As the writer and director of the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise, Gunn has proven that he has a deep understanding and respect for comic book characters, and has and his ability to balance humor and heart has been wildly praised. I mean, given his track record with the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise, it's no surprise that fans are excited to see what Gunn will do with Superman. I mean, his ability to create memorable characters and tell, compelling stories makes him the perfect choice for a superhero film. I mean, fans can rest assured that Gunn will approach the character of Superman with the same level of care and respect that he has for the Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, overall, the fact that James Gunn is attached to write the Superman movie is a promising sign for fans of the character. With his proven track record of creating memorable characters and balancing humor and heart, Gunn is sure to deliver a movie that is both respectful and faithful to the source material. So overall, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is a must-watch for Marvel fans and moviegoers alike. James Gunn's direction, the stellar cast, the world building, the engaging plot makes for an unforgettable cinematic experience. Yes, it may be darker than its predecessors, but I think it's a bold move that paid off. So that is my review for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Tell me, what did you guys think about this movie? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What was your favorite part? What was the part you laughed at? What was the part you teared up about? What did you think about the characters? Who was your favorite character in this movie? Do you have faith in James Gunn Superman? I forgot to mention Adam. My bad. Okay. But tell me what you guys think. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next movie review. You guys have a good day. Did it look cool? Bye.